Now, this is the Deputy Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. It's the first time I listened to her. She must be an incredibly wise person to reach such a high position. It's got 1.5 million views, so clearly she must have said something extremely motivating and wholesome. And let's watch together. Let's see what she said in the talk show.
All right, let me ask you about another element of this. On the present densities, you're going to add 3.4 million, or homes for 3.4 million people with your 1.5 million houses. On your own figures, we're also going to add to our population 2.5 million people over this same period. Are you content that more than 5 out of 7 new homes will go to immigrants?
Well, that's...
So basically, if you didn't pay attention, they're saying there's a housing crisis in the United Kingdom. Like there's too many people, not enough houses. And so the government will build more houses. Now take into account the government does not build because they don't have the money. In other words, they're taking money from the taxpayer, right? Like some family man who's going to work can't bring all his money to his wife and children because the government reaches in his pocket and takes a percentage of that. But it's okay because they will build more houses, right? So like the money from the taxpayer goes to build more houses. However, despite the fact that there's a housing crisis, they need more immigrants, like even more. More. How many? Yes, all of them. All of them. I mean, just empty the Middle East. Just empty the entire continent. Like more. So how does that fit, right? This is what the presenter is going to struggle to find out. It's like, how do the politician make the math? Like how exactly, like if you have a housing crisis, why do you get more people?
Not the truth, and that's not
That's
the case.
what will happen.
Well, that's not the reality because we've,
Where
in
the
particular, in
2.5 million immigrants that are in Rachel Reeves' budget figures going to turn out? Where are they going to live?
Well, there's plenty of housing in the UK, but the houses especially...
I love the housing in the UK. Some of the best. I gotta say, the Labour Party is so progressive, they're creating miracles. It's like the Schrödinger houses. At the same time, they don't exist, but also there are plenty of houses. The Deputy Prime Minister of the UK, ladies and gentlemen. You know when they said everything is political, so that comedy has to be political, and now we listen to comedians and buffoons for wisdom, and we look at the politicians for comedy.
Whoa, hang on. You can't on the one hand say we've got to build this 1.5 million houses and then say there's plenty of housing already.
There is plenty of housing, Trevor, already, but there's not enough for the people that desperately need it. So
I think I speak American, so can I have a British person translate? What the fuck did she just say? So, there are a lot of houses, but there aren't any. No, seriously, listen to this. Let's go back.
And then say there's plenty of housing already.
There is plenty of housing, Trevor, already, but there's not enough.
Is there someone that speaks British? British. Like, please, translate to me. I learned the English from Americans.
For the people that desperately need it. So the homes, especially under our affordable homes program, which is so...
Even the host has lost his shit. Like, you can't see, it's like, lady. I know that progressives are racist as fuck. But do not treat me as if I'm stupid. Come on. Unlike you, I work for a living. I actually have to be smart to get this job. Look at his body language.
Enough for the people that desperately need it. So the homes, especially under our affordable homes program, which is social and affordable housing, they will be there for people who desperately need them, local people. We've already outlined how we're going to support veterans and people who are...
And now she just goes back to the talking points, you know, like before I got to this show. I had my aides also paid by the taxpayer, and they told me, look, when houses, just use the talking points, the veterans, bring the veterans, they like the veterans, talk about the veterans, more houses, veterans, focus on that. If they talk about the immigrants, go to the veterans.
Fleeing domestic violence,
okay.
Councils need homes.
Domestic violence, I love how it's like a word salad, just throw it. It's like labor. What does labor care about? Misogyny, domestic violence. veterans. And, you know, God. Whew. What does it take to be a politician in Britain, by the way? Is there like a test, an aptitude test? Like, can anyone become one? Because like in America, they say like he doesn't look presidential. So like I assume like there is a type of person that can be president. But like in Britain, I'm curious, like what exactly do you need to do? Like what are the requirements to become the deputy prime minister?
For people that are on the waiting list. I've already announced changes to the right to buy, making sure they
but this doesn't quite make sense.
So that we can deliver the houses they desperately need.
Deputy Prime Minister...
It's like the math doesn't check out. Mathematically speaking. Putting the veterans aside.
Doesn't quite make sense. You start the interview by telling me that there's a housing crisis. When I remind you that you have said yourselves as a government, we're going to need 2.5 million migrants. Some of them, by the way...
And by the way, need. Not want. Need. Like, how many people do you need to have in Britain until you can find an individual capable at performing tasks? Like, this is what boggles my brain, by the way. Like, in medieval societies, countries had less people, and yet you could find individuals skilled at performing various labors, like farming, blacksmithing, right? Like, how did they manage? Like, maybe it's the politicians. I think that modern day politicians are utter shit at finding competent people in order to do the jobs. There is no fucking way you can have a nation bigger than Romania and not be able to find local labor at performing literally anything. You have more than 50 million people. Just pick something. Pick something. Cleaning the toilets. Out of 50 million people, you can't find one that can clean the toilets? You can't find one? You know, rocket engineering. Out of 50 million people, you can't find one? You can't find one? Maybe you're not talented enough. Maybe you're not good enough. Maybe you should resign. Like, why do you constantly need more? How much do other nations have to provide for Britain until you will say it's enough? Like, how much do you need to brain drain us? When will it be enough? How many Romanians have to pay taxpayer money in order to get people through university so that Britain can hire? Like, when is the hungry Britain going to stop gorging itself on the rest of the talent from the world? And you'll say, like, okay, we got enough. We got enough. Like we got enough builders here. Like, we got 50 million people, surely we can find 1,000 builders. Okay, all jokes aside, though, all comedy sketch aside. Well, actually, no. One more joke. What she's basically saying is that she needs the immigrants to build the houses, and then she needs the houses to house the immigrants that build the houses, so that she can have more immigrants to build more houses that will, right? Is that what? I don't think she's dumb. I genuinely don't. Even if you're a dumb person, as a politician, you have an entire team of people paid by the taxpayer, which trains you on what to say. So I don't think she's dumb. I think she's very smart. However, you will see, like, oftentimes someone asks a politician a question and go like, oh, that's ridiculous. It's not that the question is ridiculous. That's what they want the public to think, right? In this case, she knows why they need immigrants. And it's probably for big corporations. It's probably to get more votes. It's probably, maybe some plan on what they can do with the rural area and the farm side. I don't fucking know. Because it's beyond ridiculous at this point. I mean, ever since Brexit, the British public has consistently voted for tighter immigration. And I don't blame them. I mean, how many millions of people did they get in such a short amount of time? And how many more? Is there a cap? And the answer is no. In fact, even talking about it is racist. Like, no wonder they need censorship. If I was in the government in Britain, I would beg for censorship as well. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ, just stop the taxpayer from talking. Stop the taxpayer from talking, because then they're going to demand accountability. Jesus. So basically, whatever the reason is for why they constantly need more immigrants is something that the voter may not like. It's something that's unpalatable to the public. So they have to pretend that they're dumb. They have to go. It's like, oh, I don't understand the question. Oh, what do you mean? Like, we have plenty of houses. She probably didn't expect this line of questioning. This line of, so she's going to the mouse words. It's like, oh, the domestic violence, the veterans, the blah 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 blah. And this is how she avoids the question, right? By acting silly. I am genuinely curious though. Like, no, can this conversation even be had? When will Britain say that, all right, we got enough immigrants for now? Because Canada said that. And I thought that Britain as well, like they had the Prime Minister, they had Keir Starmer coming out to saying, yeah, I mean, the Tories, none of this happened by accident. They wanted it to happen. So I assumed that they were going to be like, all right, well, let's close the borders a little bit. But apparently not. Apparently they need millions more. Holy shit. How much more though? Like I'm curious, like 20 years from now, will they still take immigrants? Like, is there room? Like at one point, like physically there won't be room. Maybe they want to create, a city like Shanghai in Britain, like filled with immigrants. No wonder they want to tax the farmers to the point where they have to sell the land. I mean, like that's probably where more houses are going to be built. Yeah, no, it's like really weird. I as an Eastern European just don't fucking get it. I just don't get it. But maybe in the future I'll get it. Like maybe at one point, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, I'll finally understand why did they do this. Like, what was the grand scheme of things? What was the plan? Because you think it's like, oh, cheap labor. Cheap labor for what? Like, the environmentalism is destroying their industry. They're constantly making like more and more environmentalist policies that makes their industry more difficult, so that they have to outsource it to China. So again, like the question is like, why are they doing it for? Anyway, let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.